Hi everyone, it's Ollie, co-founder of Wanda. Today we talk to a very special guest. We're talking to Taavi from Mighty Fungi. Mighty Fungi is a brand slash manufacturer for functional mushrooms. This is why this episode is also called The Magic Behind Functional Mushrooms. Mushroom supplements are not just a trend, there is really a lot of science behind it. And it's expected that this will be a growing product category for the next decades. So very excited to show you this conversation. I personally learned a lot. I hope you will learn a lot as well. And obviously there will be some very good tips and insights about how to add mushroom supplements also to your brand. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. Today we are joined by Taavi from Mighty Fungi.
Hi there.
We have been in contact already since a while. You joined Wanda, our platform, a couple of months ago, and you are expert in a very, very interesting field, a very specific field, and let's say also a very trending field. Today we are talking about the magic behind mushroom supplements. So very excited about this conversation. But Taavi, before we start off, let's start with a quick introduction round. Tell us a little bit about yourself and also obviously about the company.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Oliver, for inviting me to Wanda. I mean, to start off talking about Mighty Fungi, I have to say that, as you mentioned, that you would love this podcast to be down to earth. And I would say that our company, like Mighty Fungi, as fungi themselves, has grown a little bit like from a very earthy tone, because it started out as a company between two friends. One had the idea, classic, and was very creative in creating products and blends. Already had the ideas to create like an after drink and all of this, and that was our Henry. And of course, there's our beautiful CEO, Mari-Liis, and she has been also present in the event production, everything structural. She came with the funds, and together they blended this idea of creating Mighty Fungi. And now we're 5 years old, so we are actually considered like an old fungi company in functional mushroom field. When we came to market, it was like Mari-Liis and Henry really saw the wave coming, and it was very curious because nowadays functional mushrooms are estimated to stay on the market for the next 50 years, turning into different products. But when they came to town, so to speak, no one knew anything about them. So it was very curious. And now we are very proud to say that we are 5 years strong. We have sold over 50 countries, and we have a lot of resellers. A lot of them have come from Wanda, and this interest into functional mushrooms has been like exceptionally like growing and growing. There are research facilities all around the world that are now doing very good work around adaptogenic mushrooms. So yeah. And as I mentioned before, I joined Mighty Fungi 2 years ago. Back then, they were still quite small, but I came from other company with a total burnout, and I got to try the product, and I had a really good experience recovering from a burnout. And from the next 2 years, I've been building the B2B unit for Mighty Fungi that has led us here.
That was a really nice story, Taavi, and yeah, as you said, yeah, I think you're really one of the early birds or of the pioneers in that space. There are now there's a lot of media attention. I think there are a couple of really big brands who raised a lot of money also on exactly that topic. This will also bring me now a little bit into the whole science and the health benefit of mushroom supplements, because it was always considered a little bit, in this area where you don't know what is it exactly. But as you said before, there's a lot of research now being done, and there are so many people really believing in the health benefits, and not only believing, but real health benefits that they see. Can you guide us a little bit? What are the different mushroom types that there are? What should we use for which kind of effect? Guide us through the science behind this a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah, well, thank you. I mean, the science portion of the fungi or functional mushrooms or prebiotic mushrooms, I mean, they say that a good thing has several names, right? It's actually quite important because nowadays, if you see something on the market that said it's to be lion's mane, it can be so many different things. So the science is always based on the active nutrients of fungi. So it's also estimated that we currently know 200 adaptogenic mushrooms, but there are like 3,000 to come. So you can already sit back in your chair and understand that for the next 50 years, another company is going to say that, hey, now tremella is very popular. Now chaga is very popular. Now this is very popular. And it's a very good thing because they are all adaptogens, which means that they will give your body they will restore the natural order in their body by providing active nutrients that your body now decides what to do with them. But there's one very important thing to understand, that like most or at least a big portion of adaptogenic mushrooms share the same effect. So they are all very good for the digestive system, for the regulatory system. So it's like you don't need the whole 3,000 future adaptogens to buy and have on your counter, and so that you wouldn't even understand like what to take anymore. But there are like certain benefits of, or like adaptogenic groups. So and this is one of the reasons why we have chosen reishi, chaga, cordyceps, and lion's mane as our main functional mushrooms, because they actually already cover everything from the range of what adaptogenic mushrooms could do to your body. So as you mentioned, the science part is very important. And nowadays you can find a lot of research materials from government sites, from different cancer research, Alzheimer's researches that are going on. But how do you know that the product that you're going to buy is actually worth consuming, to worth selling, to worth putting in your mixtures? Or also one untapped market totally is face creams and body skin products, which is going to be, by the way, the whole new thing. So if there are any cosmetic brands outside there, this is one of the things that I actually want to do, because there's already a bunch of research out. But what we do is you have to test your mushrooms, and this has to be a transparent process for your client. You can have fungi, they are built in a way that they have a cell wall, and that needs to be broken down, because if you just consume, you take lion's mane and you just consume it, you won't get the active nutrients out of it, because otherwise, if the fungi wouldn't have the cell wall, if it would be in nature, it would just decompose, right? So it needs to protect itself from getting consumed by itself, basically. So this is like one of the first steps. You want to have something that is at least an extract. So it's either hot water or a tincture form. We recommend both, and we only focus on both because hot water takes some portion of the nutrients out of the fungi, and alcohol takes another partition. We have also chosen a path where we don't want to provide alcohol products to our customers, because they work a little bit against the whole idea of functional mushroom, especially lion's mane, which is the limitless mushroom, as they say, that provides building materials for your brain to make new connections and restore nerves. So if you're going to also have an alcohol in the mixture, it's going to reduce the effect. So what we do is we have the hot water extract, and then we have the alcohol boiled extract, and then we just vaporized alcohol out, you end up with nice clean powder. And then we send them to different labs in the States and in Europe, and we test them from different pollutants, active nutrients, and heavy metals. So this is one of the things that, they're going to be around for the next 50 years, and the customer is getting smarter and smarter, and rightfully so, because if you're just going to buy lion's mane and it doesn't do anything for you, you're going to say, hey, this is just another mumbo jumbo product. But what if there's actually science based on some active nutrients, and now you have a company who has done those tests, and you can really see that, hey, we really have this active nutrient, so the likelihood of you having like a success experience is very broad.
Cool. Very, very interesting. I mean, that's also now a couple of good points that you mentioned that brings me to my next point. What's very interesting about your company is that you actually started from a pure B2C perspective. So if I am not mistaken, so you started with your own brand, you're manufacturing for yourself. So I always have the feeling if manufacturers come from this point of view, they also fully understand the whole picture very, very well, because in the end, you're selling your own brand to the end customer, and that needs to be, as you said, with the laboratory testing, etc., right? That needs to be of the best quality. But you have been also shifting now to B2B, meaning private label, white label, and to my understanding, you also do custom manufacturing if a client has a specific idea or requirement. Maybe guide us a little bit through about or through your manufacturing process. So from the ingredient sourcing to then working with client, maybe from the private label perspective.
Yeah. Let's do that. First of all, our company, as I mentioned, we are kind of down to earth ourselves, and as we did build the company from B2C side. Actually, our CEO Mari-Liis did customer support still until the end of this year herself, and she still constantly checks in, because customer support has been something that is very important for us, because functional mushrooms are a little bit complicated as a supplement product, because as a natural supplement, it takes 30 days for the effect to have its maximum potential. So you actually have to coach people through that. So having an effective email series, talking about it, gathering social proof, everything this had to be done at first. So this actually does lead, and the whole process of how we source our materials and everything. We have been, as I told you, a little bit naive, because actually all our founders were always a little bit against the supplement market, because they were like, oh, there's so many choices, people are getting confused, there's so much marketing, so many buzzwords, how can we actually know? And they were like, how can you actually, if you have a problem towards the world, how can you suit it, make something better then? So this is what they actually tried to do. So they started looking for ways to source the fungi. So, and of course, the first idea was like, hey, let's get them from Europe. We have a clean nature. Finland has a very clean nature. But as more as we researched, it was very curious that we were always pointed towards China. And China is a very, you can totally get lost there. You can get so many different ranges and qualities of everything. But one very curious aspect is that red reishi and cordyceps are native to high altitude mountains in China. So we actually say that the champagne comes from France and functional mushrooms come from China. And all the tests that we did, so we looked into products, tried to find the best materials to test them. And yes, I mean, they have such a rich history with them that we actually found a partnering company that we have stayed with in China. They do testing and provide us with all the tests, but we also do send them to third-party labs, because the distance is big and you never know. Our functional mushrooms are actually organically grown, but so far we don't have the organic label, which we're gonna have it next year, because in China it's a little bit more complicated because they do not issue organic certificates for something that they consider medicine, because functional mushrooms are essential part of Chinese traditional medicine. So, but there is a way to get also the organic label, because it's so important for our private labels, and I think rightfully so, because I find that not a lot of companies actually understand with what we have done with our functional mushrooms, because we have actually learned almost as much as we can humanly know about our functional mushrooms with the third-party lab testing. And I would hope that this becomes a standard, not the USDA organic or EU organic, because organic actually doesn't show you very important parameters of functional mushrooms, like heavy metal rates and all of these kind of things. Because fungi, they are a cleaner for nature, so you really want to know what you have in there before you hand it out to other people.
Definitely, that's a very good point. Actually, when I understand it also correctly, you already mentioned it a little bit, but if brands that might have not yet have a fungi product on the market, if they are interested, you also, as you said, you have so much knowledge in-house. I understand that you also help them really understanding what kind of products they would make sense for their brand. Is that correct?
Yeah, you are correct, because we have been around quite a few minutes. We have talked and worked with so many functional mushroom companies all around the world, and we do have our own facility in other city in Estonia, where we get the functional mushrooms and then we send them out for testing, and we do get raw materials from China, and now we build all the products and combinations we do mix in Estonia and everything. Since we have an understanding of the whole process from sourcing to actually proving what we have, testing what we have, then building a product, then actually selling the product and understanding the client, and we have experience with over 50 countries. We have done marketing campaigns, we have done research. So now if we actually incorporate the private label brands or distributors or companies who want to build their own fungi product, we have so many ideas already in the bag to share. So this is always very, very interesting for us, because we think that all the companies are like this, and then we understand that we are a little bit nerds in our field when it comes to fungi products, because we already know what are going to be the next products, and how the fungi products are going to progress into the future as well, and what are going to be left behind.
Cool. I mean, we are a bit biased, to be honest with you. I told you in our talk that we had previously that we are lucky that we have a couple of your products also in our office, and my co-founder and we like them a lot. Can you give us some insights? What are your maybe best sellers or the most requested products, or let's maybe say like that, the products where you really strongly say, this is the product where we're currently the most proud of? Brands should really consider taking that into their own product portfolio.
Yeah, that's an easy one, because that's gonna be the level up. I don't have the jar here. I mean, it's in a similar jar that the sleep one is, but I have also the sachet here. And this product, as I mentioned earlier, functional mushrooms are very good supplements to incorporate in your diet. But there is one very big but, because you have to take them for 30 consecutive days and have a discipline to go through them. So what happened was that Henry was tired, our co-founder, and since he has been building all the email communications and everything with our P2C clients, and he needed a boost himself, he was like, hey, what if I can make a product that would give you like a heightened state of focus without any additives that would be like caffeine or anything like this that you could literally have before sleep, and that would actually coach you through the 30 days as well. So how Level Up is made is that it has essential vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that usually people lack desperately, or you usually just spend throughout your day, so your body is out of them. And once you consume it, your body is like, nice, all the fuel that I need to actually function really well. And like in a half an hour, you have a heightened state of being. And actually, a lot of people, we are very proud of the taste because it has been designed to be like a nice treat, not another weird supplement thing that you just have to suffer through. And after you have been taking the one jar 30 days, after 30 days, you run out of the product, but the functional mushrooms are slowly coming on in the background, and you're actually left with a completely heightened state. And with functional mushrooms, the effect does not fade away once you stop taking them. It actually, you're left with that. And another very interesting phenomena of functional mushrooms is, because a lot of people ask that, it's like you won't grow dependent on it. Actually, you're going to need less and less of it. Because initially, your body takes 30 days to register how to work with the adaptogen. And later, once it already knows, it's like, you feel like, today I need more focus. So you're just going to have and take some lion's mane and put in your coffee or have a Level Up. You will have an instant effect. So later it works very, very rapidly. So this is why it's so worth of actually just going through the one period of committing to the 30 days. And nowadays we even like recommend just like get a Level Up to the 30 days so your body registers the adaptogens. And now if you take like a cordyceps or lion's mane separately, you will if not instantly, then very rapidly already get the high potential. But yeah, main seller Level Up, and Level Up has gone and will go to places because this has already been to Biohacker Summit last year in Netherlands. We had a big booth out, and we just had a Level Up bar. So there were just like thousands of biohackers that came to our table, and we talked about Level Up, and we were just making Level Ups to people, and just it was very interesting because the taste was one of the things, and it was very curious that at first day some people are like skeptical, and then they just take the thing with them, and we're like, yeah, you're listening to the lectures the whole day. The moment you feel that you cannot focus anymore, just have the half a liter water bottle, and then just dump Level Up in and see if something happens, And if it does, just come back next day and tell us. And there were so many people who came back and shared experience. So we had a very nice opportunity to test this product with probably the most knowledgeable crowd that one can possibly muster in one space.
Amazing. That's basically a growth hack within a very targeted audience. It's super cool that you did it like that. We have them all actually also. You were so kind to send some over to us. We are sending them, or we are actually giving them out next time we are at the trade show. So thanks also for that on that side. Quite insightful conversation, especially what you said about the effects that, okay, you have to be consistent for 30 days, but then afterwards, actually, it's kind of, your body recognizes it. It's you need less and less. That's, I think, interesting. I do think, honestly, that there is so much potential for a lot of brands. And they don't have to be, in my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't have to be pure supplement brands that say, hey, let's put that into our product line, right? So I think there's a lot of potential for any kind of food brand, of lifestyle brands. You mentioned earlier, beauty, cosmetics brands, which just makes so much sense because it's so complementary. Do you see in your customer group who come to you for the private label or the contract manufacturing part of your business? Do you see some interesting use cases already for a bit more not so obvious brands? And if yes, then would be lovely to share them. Don't have to tell any names. And if no, then give us some inspiration. Who should come to you and ask or require your services?
Yeah, that's a good one because there are some irregularities because functional mushrooms is such a dense topic, and I am totally not surprised why it's estimated to stay around for another 50 years because it's just so simple and so close to nature, and it has such a strong impact because I don't know if it comes as a surprise to people, but we are mainly made out of bacteria and fungi ourselves. If you eat food, you will not digest it. Bacteria and fungi will, and they will just provide you with the glycogen and other stuff that they have broken down. So if you mess them up, like your microbiome in your stomach, and nowadays food comes from very questionable sources, very far away. So we need to heal our microbiome and our body. And functional mushrooms seem to be there and up for the task because they are just gentle enough so they won't bother you with a very strong effect, but they are strong enough as a natural medicine that would actually give you a very pronounced effect that that this happened because of functional mushrooms. But as I already mentioned, skincare. So far, first generation of functional mushroom products were just powders, powder extracts. A very good powder extract tastes exceptionally good as well. So if you have no additives, like 20-to-1 functional mushroom powder, like lion's mane tastes like a little bit like a burnt caramel. So in Biohacker Summit, we did offer people popcorn with lion's mane. Crazy good, already with a functional twist. You can use functional mushrooms in like so many food products. I went to the Netherlands also last year to one food fair, and I had this discussion with different vendors. So nowadays we have the ginger shots, put lion's mane in them. We have functional drinks, put functional mushrooms also in them. So what if your day-to-day snacks would now have like a function here and there? We know that reishi and skincare, the whole idea actually came from one client who came through Wanda. It's a company from South Africa, and they do cosmetics. And they had also come down from, they were like, hey, cosmetics are for the skin. The skin is produced by your body. If your body is out of balance, you need to get it into balance, and everything starts from the gut. So they made one transition to another, and they actually launched a private label product line for a cosmetics company. And actually, I would say that cosmetics is going to be the biggest thing probably for functional mushrooms in next years, because soon you're going to see all sorts of creams and everything with the reishi, with cordyceps, because they are like, the whole idea came from them because they ran our four mushroom complex through their lab, and I was like, hey, I made a cream, it worked exceptionally good, what happened, what worked in there? I was like, you are the dermatologist, you have the degree, you tell me. And then I started just researching around, and there's actually quite a lot of information already about medical uses for red reishi, for example, because reishi takes down allergic reactions and soothes the skin. It's actually used in some cases for burn victims as a sort of second skin, because it actually creates a breathable layer, like almost like a band-aid, but made out of like because like a mushroom, it turns into this little bit like squishy material that you can use. And when we were, this is only, I'm just doing science on myself in secret, but when we were in India with our team, and India is famous for having a lot of sun, I burned my skin a little bit, so I put a little bit red reishi into the facial cream, and it's ridiculous how well this thing works. So I'm more than certain that the food industry, cosmetics, will be the next big things, in addition to just having simple supplements. And it's more than sure that so far the first generation of functional supplements were just powders or capsules. And now they're probably going to be something leaning more towards level up. We're going to also launch a new product line called Functional Mushrooms Plus, which are going to be, if Lions is mainly for your brain and functioning and being more adaptive to the society and all the info and all of this, we're going to add other vitamins and minerals to also highlight the effect. So if level up is like, level up is built as a like a executive superpower tool that, you know, you already had 5 coffees, you're going to have 5 meetings more, you're already very tired, you cannot focus, but you have to, you want to, you know, you're a driven hustle person, so you're going to have a level up. But now if you talk about like day-to-day maintenance of our body, now like all the functional mushrooms plus are going to be a thing in one way or another. And next years we're going to see so many companies building these kind of products. And but this is always going to be more like an upper premium type of product. But as we talked about before we launched into the recording as well, if there are manufacturers that care to have like a bigger volume product for like bigger audiences and masses, the key formula that you all are looking for is a product that's known plus functional mushrooms. So having a protein bar with lion's mane, or protein bar with lion's mane and cordyceps, even better, is such a genius way to launch a product in like a fitness world, because cordyceps has been used, I think, from the 60s in Olympics. It's actually one of the things that sometimes gives a false reading that people has used illegal drugs, because cordyceps helps your body to bind more oxygen. So having something like this in a gym is a game changer. You know,
cool.
so it's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, I learned a lot today just by talking with you now for this half an hour, and I fully agree with you. We see it also on our platform that a lot of brands are demanding it. I think there's still this black box. What you are currently, or as you have described in this conversation, that you are bringing light on. So I think there's still so much potential for growth, and I'm so excited also that you are part of Wanda. Lastly, let's really talk, so to say, hard facts. When and how should brands approach you? I think there are like the different ways, right? Like just pure white label, so to say. So building their brand on top of your products, going a bit deeper, changing some formulations. You have already described so many creative ways how to incorporate mushrooms into existing products. Can you just explain us lastly at the end here how the brands should approach you, in which stage and whenever they need something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as I mentioned, we are quite down there, so we are also up for just giving people feedback on their ideas. So if you already have an idea that you want to do something with the functional mushrooms, we have built a portfolio of potential products that can be just already, we can call these into existence, since we do have our own manufacturing facility, and we already have a quite good understanding what works in the market, what's going to work well in the future in the market. So I would say that whoever has the interest can just take a hold of us. We do white label, we do private label, even though I would say, I mean, 100% of clients who have come to us with a wish to have white label have ended up with a private label, because it's since we do package in our own facility, we do everything. It's so easy to just have a box arrive at your warehouse, open it out, and pretty much put it into the shelves already to sell them. Companies who want to build new products, as mentioned, it's always very good to already have some kind of mixture and then just have functional mushrooms, but these are more like bulk clients. We do also sell bulk,
Cool.
but we offer our distribution of Mighty Fungi products, and of course also building products from scratch, which is this is the only phase where I would think that the client who approaches us should already have their budgeting in order, because this I've noticed gets out of hand quite fast if you don't have a more stern concept of what you actually, so a mindset that, hey, let's do this product, how can we make sense this with functional mushrooms would be the best with custom product building. But that's the only thing. The other options are very up to negotiating, because we are luckily quite flexible with our clients. And some clients have come in with white label wishes, end up distributors, some distributors end up with custom products, some custom, it's like we usually go through everything with our client. We like to have a down-to-earth conversation, and everything should be quite transparent. And I think education is what we do mainly, because we feel that since we are now the old functional mushroom company, there are just so many ideas and things that have accumulated. So the more we get to actually share this with the community, especially if it's going to be a growing community for, once again, the next 50 years, it's a conversation to be had. So yeah, so we welcome everyone to just be in the conversation. You don't have to buy anything. I have very many people that I have just had conversation with, and it was, that has been really good.
Nice. Taavi, thanks so much. That was also a great, I think, end statement. So listen, everybody, if you are interested in diving into the functional mushroom space, we can highly recommend Mighty Fungi. They are on Vonda. You see, Taavi has so much knowledge. The company has so much knowledge. So let's get started with this. Add this to your product portfolio. And we see each other on Vonda. Taavi, thanks so much for the conversation.
Thank you.
Talk soon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Oliver.